Hey guys, it's Cash with Dara back here with our very first video ever, and wow, this is pretty crazy. So basically, in this video, I'm going to talk about the stock price. Probably one of the most important fundamental aspects of investing that you need to understand. Most people actually overlook this and don't understand it, and that kind of blows my mind because it's very important and it will help you make more informed decisions in the future, as I hope to show you in a later part of this video. So basically, the stock price is right here. You see it? It's 125.12. Well, technically, that's shows the last transaction that happened. So the last person that bought Apple was at 125.12. But I mean, you could basically just treat it as the stock price because, yeah, just consider it the stock price. But if you're ever wondering, technically, this is the last price at what it was bought. So the way that they come up with this number is very important, and I hope to explain that to you guys later on. Well, in like the next slide. So they pick out that number. That number is generated through supply and demand for the stock. If more people want the stock and more people buy the stock, the price of the stock will go up. If more people sell the stock or don't like the stock, the price goes down. It's like toilet paper. More people want toilet paper value goes up. Less people want toilet paper value goes down. Same with the stock. So there are two things that drive up like buyer sentiment or seller sentiment, which is that supply and demand, that demand aspect. So people usually buy the stock and sentiment goes up if the stock is doing well. I mean, if the company's doing well. Because if a company is making money, has good ethics, good financials, good market share, all of that stuff that makes a good company good, then usually people are going to be like, wow, this company's great. I'm going to buy some of them so I can grow with them because they're a good, sustainable, heading to a better place, increasing, growing company. So I'll do that with them. So that is one way, and that's called, when you do that, you're looking at the company's intrinsic value. Intrinsic value is the company's like worth, but not counting, like not the stock price, the actual worth of the company, looking at all of their assets, all of their potential, how much money they're making, how much extra money they got, looking at all that actual company performance, and then generating how much you think it's worth off of that is called intrinsic value. And I'll get into that later, but just know that you want a company with a good intrinsic value, and then that company will grow in the future and you can grow with them. Good solid foundation. Basically, on Shark Tank, you see them and they're like, oh, how are you? You ask a million questions and they're like, oh, this company has good potential. It's doing great now. I'm going to invest in it. Basically, that's like the first way the stock price goes up. And that's the most sustainable place, like sustainable way that the stock price can go up. All right, next. The second way it can go up is hype. Remember we talked about supply and demand? That's how the stock price is generated. So if a million people, or not a million, but like if a lot of people buy a stock, doesn't matter how bad the company is, but if people buy it, the price is going to go up because that's how the stock price works. So it could be the worst company ever. They could be like 12, $13 billion in debt, but if people buy the stock for some reason, like the stock price will go up. And that's another way the stock price can go up and make people, and another way people can act to make a stock price go up. But the problem with that is that the intrinsic value of the company, which is like the true value of the company, is not like equal to the stock price. And that means the stock is severely overvalued, and the only reason its like prices up is because other people are forcing it up. And what that does is eventually people are going to realize, oh, this company's trash, I'm going to get rid of it, and then the stock price is going to tank because it's not backed by that solid foundation. So that's the problem with hype stocks, explained easily. And if you're having some trouble with that explanation, another explanation is that it's like a drug company. It's making a lot of quick cash, but in the long run, it's not sustainable. They get shut down by the authorities. It's not legit. It's just, you can't keep it up forever, and then eventually it's going to tank. And so, remember we talked about intrinsic value and the true value of a company, which kind of is like the supporting, like this foundation for having the stock price go up and staying up. and doing well over time, you can figure that out with fundamental analysis. Fundamental analysis is looking at all the aspects of a company that makes it do good, like how much money it's making, market share, their products, looking to see if it's like a good company in general. And then technical analysis is when you look at the chart and whatever, and you see like, oh, the chart's going, a lot of people are buying it, so I'll buy it too. And you try and do like a chart. You use the chart basically. I can get into both of these in a lot of detail later, but I wanted to keep this one simple as an introduction video. So you can use those combined and then you can make more informed decisions. But usually fundamental analysis goes with the first one, where you buy a company that's sustainable basically and good internally. And the technical analysis is what you usually use, what you focus on more when you're buying those hype stocks, and you want to like time that so you don't get stuck on the market correction, which is when it crashes. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video and learned about what makes the stock price. Just to recap, most important detail is the stock price is determined on supply and demand, what people pay for it. What people will pay for it is what the stock price is. Hype and good financials and good company overall are the two things that make people want to buy it. Hype is not sustainable. Good internal company is sustainable. Alright, I'll see you guys in the next video with more detail.